also have come out to support the YWCA, and that's very important for us. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of the board staff and all of the volunteers that you have met today, thank you again for coming tonight. What an incredible week this has been.
Oh, God.
Good. I'm glad I didn't have to explain that. All of this excitement around local developments and also national developments really gives us a reason to continue to do the work that we're doing. Lately, we have been undergoing a tremendous transition, the YW. A lot of you probably still don't know exactly what it is that we do. Locally, in terms of services, we are a community-based mental health counseling center. But nationally, we provide services to women and children who are fleeing environments that are violent. We provide support to women who are dealing with breast cancer. We provide support to families that are homeless. Imagine, there are YWCAs that own their own neighborhoods. Someday, perhaps we'll be able to do that here. Little by little, with events like this, we might be able to manage that. But you'll hear more about the YWCA because one other very phenomenal transition has just happened. We have just hired a new national CEO.
Wow.
Her office is in Washington, D.C. We just had a conference where I hope I'm not overstating, over 500 women gathered. 300 of us took an entire day to lobby. We went to visit all of our legislators all over the country. The national office helped us with that. How did we come up with the one public policy priority? Because every single YWCA in all 50 states have different priorities, but we all came to one agreement. There isn't a state in the United States that isn't affected by immigration.
Right.
And so we decided that that would be our public policy priority for this year. And again, I hope I'm not stealing someone's thunder, but without further ado, I would like very much to introduce to you our national CEO. She's here tonight. Dr. Dara Richardson.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction, and thank you, Diana, for your exemplary leadership. I'd also like to extend my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to the YWCA Austin Board, led by President Kim Dutray and Vice President Kathy Weir, and the Women of the Year Soiree Dinner Chair, Dr. Terry Gibbons, all of the staff and the volunteers at the YWCA Greater Austin, and to all of you here today for your support and belief in the YWCA's mission to empower women and eliminate racism. Thank you. You know, I had the opportunity to visit the YWCA Austin office and meet with the incredible staff and board last evening, and it's truly an honor for me to be here tonight for the Women of the Year Soiree to celebrate this year's honorees for their remarkable contributions to the Austin community and to the world. You know, as Diana said, YWCA Greater Austin has made a significant impact here in Texas for more than a century. In the early days, the Austin YWCA provided social opportunities for female students at the University of Texas, including prayer groups, gospel singing, and support of overseas missionary work. And today, as Diana said, the YWCA of Greater Austin is on the front lines, providing invaluable and life-changing counseling, support, information, and skills training to empower women and girls. Their work in schools and the juvenile justice systems for women veterans and for women and families in the Austin community is just remarkable. And in addition to all of that, they have a highly regarded series of workshops on groundbreaking counseling topics, enabling counseling professionals to maintain their credentialing. At my table, 2 young ladies were speaking about how this has impacted their life and professional careers. So as the National YWCA CEO, I am really pleased to count the YWCA of Greater Austin as part of our national movement of 229 local YWCA associations across the nation. And I congratulate the YWCA of Greater Austin for the work that you're doing. Now, as Diana said, I officially took the helm of the YWCA as a Chief Executive Officer back in December of 2012, following in the footsteps of my mom and others who had been on the forefronts of leading the YWCA for many years prior to my joining the organization. And I'm really deeply honored to be a member of such an iconic organization that has had vitally important impact in the lives of women and girls over the years. To have the opportunity to utilize my education, my experiences, my leadership skills, and my passion to build upon the rich and historic 154-year-old legacy of the YWCA organization, it's just very meaningful to me. And it's a responsibility that I did not take lightly. The women of the YWCA have been at the forefront of many life-changing social movements in the United States, from the abolition of slavery to voting rights, from civil rights to pay equity, and today, from fair immigration reform to the prevention of violence and the protection of women's reproductive rights. In their time, these issues were often viewed as unconventional, but today our outcomes are part of the foundation of who we are as a nation. As a national movement, we affect change in the lives of more than 2 million women and girls annually by providing advocacy as well as safe, affordable housing, workplace readiness and career development, family and individual counseling, job training, quality affordable childcare, financial literacy, domestic violence services, health and wellness programs, and young women in militaries and veterans programs. But despite our 154-year-old legacy of leadership and incredible track record of success, women continue to confront challenges to our historic progress and equality. And we regularly have to fend off attacks to our basic human rights. Certainly, given the very recent events right here in Austin, each of you are very well aware of how important it is for the YWCA and other organizations to continue to advocate strongly for women's rights. Yeah. What we have seen this week is that we can make a difference if we stand together and literally and figuratively make a loud noise when there are threats to our health and safety. And even though we have strong and determined women in leadership positions, many are in this room today, we're still underrepresented in boardrooms and C-suites and in elected positions. Let me just give you a few facts to prove it. As of 2012, women constitute only 14% of Fortune 500 executive positions. Of the 1,000 CEOs leading our nation's largest businesses, only 42 or 4.2% are women. And not only is there a dearth of women in our C-suites, but our numbers in Congress are also out of balance. Out of the 100 members in the United States Senate, only 20 are women. And women hold only 18% of the 535 seats in the 113th Congress. At every level of business and government, women are underrepresented. And this is all in spite of the fact that our country is comprised of 50.8% women. The math just doesn't add up. The advancement of women in our workplaces and our government will undoubtedly have tremendous positive impact. Studies have already shown that companies with more women on their boards and in executive suites perform better financially. We also know that hedge funds run by women outperform the industry standard. We as women have more than demonstrated our value as significant contributors and impressive role models in the home, in the schools, in the workplace, in the legislature, and in every aspect of life. So one would think that true equality for women would not be so elusive, but unfortunately it's still a bit of a challenge. It has been 50 years since the passage of the Equal Pay Act, and women are still earning less than their male counterparts. On average, a woman earns only 77 cents for every dollar earned by a man. And that number is even less for women of color. You know, I was recently invited to the White House to celebrate the 50-year anniversary of the Equal Pay Act. But you know what? I didn't break out the champagne. I didn't. You know why? Because when women earn 23 cents less for every dollar, it means that's 23% less in take-home pay, and that's a substantial amount of money that could help women and families pay their bills, purchase goods and services, support themselves in retirement, and in turn help strengthen our nation's economy. President Obama told us that when President Kennedy signed this act into law, women were making 59 cents for every dollar. So I decided I'd break out the sparkling cider, but I'm going to reserve the champagne because we still have a long way to go. And here's a topic near and dear to my heart, one extremely relevant to those served by local YWCAs, and that's healthcare disparities. Myriad studies have shown that minorities are in poorer health, they experience much more significant problems accessing care, and they're more likely to be uninsured and often receive lower quality health care than other Americans. Given the rapidly growing diversity of this nation, an increasing number of minority Americans find themselves at risk of disease. Known fact that women all over the world find a way to take care of their families, succeed in business and in life, even despite the fact that we are often not provided with equal access to the tools, the training, the rewards, the wealth, the health, and other factors necessary to ensure our success. And I'm sure that many of you here today, including our honorees, have stories to tell about how challenging it can be to be a successful woman in today's world. And you know what, you may think I'm biased, but I just have to take a moment to say that in my very objective opinion, I think women are totally awesome. Women, give yourselves a round of applause. Now I did see a few good men in the audience. And men, we think you are terrific, but we are at the YWCA event. This is the Women of the Year Awards Soiree, and we're even at the W Hotel. So it's all about the But seriously, you know, at the YWCA, we know that women's leadership, the elevation and empowerment of women and girls, it's not just a nice thing to do. It's central to creating a brighter, more prosperous, productive, and peaceful world. So even as we celebrate success and achievement tonight, we understand that our work is not done. We have so much more work to do to make sure that women and girls everywhere are guaranteed to have the basic rights and dignity we deserve. That's why the YWCA is so critically important. And as we set forth a vision for the national YWCA and our collective movement, we have to take the lessons, achievements, and challenges learned from our past and build on our revitalized national YWCA movement. And we need to create a strong, robust organization to eliminate racism, empower women, and support the life-changing services that local YWCAs like the YWCA of Austin do every day. We have 5 priorities at the YWCA. Our first is to optimize our governance and overall structure, because we know that by starting internally, we'll build a foundation for our overall success. And our second priority is to increase our fundraising efforts, both locally and nationally, from all sources, creating a culture of philanthropy across many generations and increasing our funds that are available to continue the vitally important work that we do. Our third strategic priority is to enhance the relationship, trust, and alignment between local and national operations. The national and local organizations of the YWCA must work together and build a strong foundation of trust for our organization to be successful. Our fourth strategic priority, as Diana already mentioned, is focusing our advocacy efforts. I think many of you know that yesterday the U.S. Senate passed the Border Security, Economic Opportunity, and Immigration Modernization Act by a vote of 68 to 32, which includes a pathway to citizenship for 11 million aspiring Americans, many of whom are immigrant women, girls, and dreamers. And we know this bill is not perfect with its new compromise language, But it is the most comprehensive bill on immigration reform we have seen in decades, and it includes many provisions that benefit women and families. We at the YWCA are going to continue to ensure that reunifying families and protecting the safety and security of immigrant women who are victims of sexual or domestic violence and trafficking will remain key priorities within immigration reform. And our fifth strategic priority is to create signature programming across the nation designed to increase our branding and marketing efforts. So many people don't know who we are and what we do. We're doing such amazing work across the country, but people don't know who we are. We've got to change that. Organization that's better qualified or more appropriately poised to assume this role than we are. And I am confident that together we can do it. Just think about it. Every woman and every girl in the world has a stake in the success of our organization. And I have to say, the incredible women we are celebrating tonight, and every one of you in this room, serve as prime examples of the leadership and community support that made the YWCA what it is today, and your continued involvement and support will catapult our organization to tremendous success into the future for the benefit of the women and girls who are counting on us to make a difference in their lives. So I thank you for your attention, and it is now my distinct pleasure to begin the program to introduce tonight's award winners. So first, I'd like to introduce the recipient of the Racial Justice Award, Martha Cotera. Martha is considered by many in the Austin community to be a bold and industrious mentor to young Latinos and Latinas. She tirelessly encourages her mentees to speak out on issues of racial equality. As an advocate working hard to make an impact in the lives of others, Martha's life's work has been one of figuring out how to make our community and state more equitable. Martha's legacy extends from the founding of Raza Unida, a political party focused on Mexican-American nationalism, to the most recent 10-to-1 initiative for electing Austin council members. Her determination and tenacity serve as true inspiration for others to take a stand and defend equality and justice. Let's watch and learn more.
That I couldn't help it, and it's been a lifelong effort. First came to Austin, tried to find housing in 1963. My husband was a School of Architecture student, so we needed an apartment. We tried to get an apartment, and they wouldn't rent to us because we were Mexican American. That was enough. That one action, I just said, no. I mean, this is not going to happen. I'm not going away. You know, I'm going to stay here, and it's going to change. And so we made sure that there was a housing ordinance in Austin passed. So we monitored legislation at the federal and state level, and then we promoted ordinances at the local level to reflect that change. So we worked on politics. We also worked very hard on school reforms. From the very beginning, I was also involved in women's issues. And women's issues were front and center in every single one of the activism that myself and my family and the community participated in. One of the greatest was establishing the Mexican American Business and Professional Women. That was more or less a similar coalition to what we're trying to do today, and that was bringing very resourceful Mexican American women together to work on social and civic issues in Austin. And in the period of time that we were together for 20 years, we actually helped develop the medical assistance program, which still exists and is one of the best in the state. We helped and founded the Rape Crisis Center, the Center for Battered Women, and of course, we were very instrumental in making sure that the community always got its fair share of capital improvement projects and the budget. These are major, major accomplishments for Austin that put us on the map and way ahead of other cities on progressive issues. The other would be the cultural arts. We have a multi-million-dollar Mexican-American cultural center that I helped to shepherd through the funding and construction process. It's a matter of becoming aware of what your talents are. And mine, I always thought was very kind of dull. It was information. But over the years, I realized how very powerful information can be. That was my skill that I have been able to give back to the community. And so in every effort that we needed to do, like the economy strike, you know, I was able to help with that. Like helping with the manpower programs, I was able to help with that. Like helping with educational research, I was able to help with that. So I brought my skill into and I still do, the activism that I do. I don't know how I could be any different, but I'm happy I'm me, because I'm strong enough to fight for my rights and for my liberation. It's really, really wonderful to be recognized and acknowledged. Absolutely, and it is a great honor to be selected. Everybody has to thank their mother. Honest to goodness, I have a 93-year-old mother who lives in Austin now. I have to thank her, especially for that stamina, that intellectual strength, and that strain of womanhood that never let me waver. And then, of course, a wonderful family. My husband of 50 years, and of course my daughter, who's now a PhD in women's studies, teaching at the University of Michigan, and my son, whose young life ended at 25, but I'm so grateful to him, you know, for the enlightenment that he gave to my life in the 25 years that he lived. If you can put your life out there, and you're being acknowledged by the community for an exemplary life, and this can give others the courage to act, I think that's why you accept an honor. And I think that this honor is shared. And I would hope that the Y would feel as honored having me be part of this process as I feel with their acknowledgement.
Security needed to achieve economic stability in an environment free of violence. She works exhaustively to create peer-to-peer support networks for survivors of domestic violence in the Austin area. She also established the first Little Black Dress Society in Austin, a program that aims to encourage women to live, believe, and dream that they can end the cycle of domestic abuse. Kathryn's determination to help women achieve economic freedom and to escape domestic violence has yielded many success stories and impacted many lives. Let's take a look at Kathryn's work.
I have been involved with a lot of different things. Plus, I've been a survivor myself. I have been through 2 marriages that were domestic violence. And when I was in those domestic violence situations, it was so hard. But I don't want anybody else to go through that. You know, I just want everybody to know that safety and to be loved and to be safe. Survive to Thrive Foundation is an organization that I'm an advisory board member on. And the concept of Survive to Thrive is that we want to be able to provide peer-to-peer support. And it's something that's lacking in a lot of different areas in encouraging survivors to become a voice and be able to have an impact on others. A lot of times, just listening to people encourages them, knowing that they're able to have somebody else to share that voice. I also have a Domestic Violence Voices Facebook page, and my mantra on that Facebook page is sharing your voice. And so I often put things on there that are words of encouragement. I started it just to share a message, and even if I change one person's life, how great would that be? And a few months ago, one of the gals wrote me, and she says, I have been following you since you had put this page on here, and I have finally left. And I was like, wow. And so it's just that affirmation. And I don't always get those affirmations. I never knew if it was really touching anybody's soul like I wanted it to. But when I got that affirmation, I was like, I'm on the right track. I'd like to see that the change in the world is being able to end gender violence. One of my missions is to be a part of the United Nations. And one of the things that I found this year, in the past few years, really, I've been working with some folks in Australia, in France, and South Africa, and they're all working towards the same goal. And it's really comforting to be able to see that there is change coming about. I volunteer because I don't like just sitting at home and waiting for things to happen. I want to make sure that there are other needs met. It's kind of a giving back, and it's kind of a Christian thing to do. It's kind of a humanistic thing to do. It's just innate drive that, passion that follows. And I don't know, everybody has some kind of seedling of hope, or, and I just kind of take it a step further and try to make action. I think each time that I do something, I make a little bit more of a difference. I'm just so honored to be able to get this award, because an advocate doesn't often get those awards. They don't get that acknowledgement all the time. And to get this acknowledgement, this pat on the back, and it means the world to me. I think I would like to thank my family, my boyfriend, George, he's very supportive of me, my friends, my fellow advocates from the hotline, and who are also very supportive of things that I do. My grandma, rest in peace, but she has inspired me a lot because of her own volunteerism. And I just, thank everybody being here for the award and also for honoring me. This is just such a great honor. This really kind of jumpstarts another movement of my soul, to continue to be the advocate that I am. Being able to do this with the Little Black Dress Society, the Survive to Thrive Foundation, the Girl Scouts, the Domestic Violence Voices page I did, the Beyond Words Live. I have a radio show for survivors to tell their story in their own words. All these different things, I'm always looking for other ideas and other ways to, really get that message out to the masses. And hopefully I'll get to the United Nations next year and be able to expand it even more. No telling where I'll take it.
A number of nonprofits. Starting back with Leadership Austin, which was probably my first entry into community service. It was an awesome program that kind of laid the foundation for the need for you to be involved in communities. And since that time, I've been very busy. The Urban League, currently I'm on the ARC board. I'm president of Links Incorporated, I am also chair of the steering committee for a legacy of giving. So I'm staying very busy trying to make a difference, particularly as it relates to our young people. I'd like to ensure that our young people have the opportunity to advance in their career or their educational path. Everyone doesn't need to go to college, but everyone does need to have a future. And my goal is to make sure that young people know that they have a future and that they have opportunities and that they can achieve whatever they choose to achieve. One way I do that is through the links. We have an organization of 40 women who are involved in the community, and that gives me an opportunity to make sure that they're out and about and helping the community achieve its goals. We have a mentoring program for young girls. We started that program several years ago, and now we have students who are in high school. And to see them, one young lady won a debate contest that was given by a nonprofit, and we went to see her. And her remarks were, the links made a difference. They taught me how to be a lady, but they also taught me to succeed. So those kinds of things help you to know that you're achieving what you want in the community. The other way I do that is through my job. I mentor a lot of young women at work, but I enjoy that. It's making sure young people have someone to go to that they can talk with and get some direction. Legacy of Giving is one of my favorites because we're involved in all of the private and non-private schools. And we have a lot of young people who are learning about philanthropy and how to give back. And they have an opportunity through a day of service and Walk for the Water to get involved and to really make a difference. And when you see the faces of these young people, when they're able to donate clothes and food and build wells in Africa, when you see them just get the message that I can do this too, it's just awesome. I love serving. I live for it. And I believe that we are all facilitators of something. We're here to help somebody else. We never know who that is or what that is. And I think we all need to find that place where we feel needed, where we can serve, where we know that we're making a difference and we're giving back. And I found it. In everything I do, I see it. To be a leader means that you're facilitating the lives of other people, that you're using your skills to help them achieve their goals. And that as a leader, it's the one thing I will always remember, that it's not about you. It's about the people that you're helping, the people you're serving. Winning this award feels overwhelming. It's a high honor, and I'm privileged to receive it. And it reminds me of when I started out with the Women's Center a long time ago, with Ann Richards and Kathy Bonner, Mary Beth Rogers, and Lee Thompson, and all of those wonderful women who were my role models. Reminds me of the work that they said we needed to do in Austin. And so when I think about the award, I sit back and say, okay, so I've done it. I've achieved those goals, and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel wonderful to know that not only that I have the opportunity to give, but that it's being recognized. On this occasion, I think about the colleagues that I've had the opportunity to work with in the community, in the organizations I've worked for, with strong people who are passionate about serving. And they helped motivate me and keep me going. I think my friends, I've been blessed with a circle of friends that love me and support me, and they're there every step of the way. Everyone doesn't get the opportunity or have the time. But I've had the opportunity and the time and the energy to get involved and try to make a difference. And it has made a difference in my life and my daughter's life. It was not a decision I sat down and wrote a 3 to 5 year plan. This is where I'm going to be. I just said, let me go where I need to go to be of service and to make things happen. And this recognition just says to me that you've done a good job, Jerry. It also says that you can continue. This is not the end. This is a recognition, taking a breather in between to say, okay, all the work that you tried to do, it's been good, but now let's see what else we can do.
Sold tobacco products to minors. Not exactly a typical extracurricular activity. Bringing such establishments to light is a rare accomplishment. But this is just one of the many reasons why Kayla is a most deserving honoree. She's in the top 5% of her senior class at Manor High School. Yeah, we can clap for that. She initiated a service project to collect coats and school supplies for disadvantaged students in her school district. She is just an amazing woman, and she has an amazing support group who I had the opportunity to meet prior to the dinner tonight. Let's take a look at Kayla's accomplishments.
I am part of the National Honor Society. I am also an active Black young leader. I am also a Texas Teen Ambassador, which is a group of teens who go across the state of Texas teaching students and teachers and sponsors about the dangers of tobacco. My first passion is One Life, One Goal, which is a group of students who are a part of a tobacco prevention organization. And we basically do things in our community, like we do cigarette butt cleanups, we talk to students, teachers. We also do presentations around our school, and it's basically trying to get more students and our peers into our group to try to get them to understand, that the tobacco companies are targeting us, not the older folks, because, a young smoker turns into an adult smoker. My grandfather was actually a smoker, and from his effects, he did pass away when I was 5 years old. He didn't know the effects it was taking on him. If he would have known, maybe he would have changed his habits. It's just something that, still is a big part of my life. As teenagers, we get the, well, why should I care? It doesn't affect me, why should I care? And as long as you can find a way to relate it to them, then they understand, that actually is something that I should be interested about. And it's not just, it's not just about tobacco as well. We've also done things like with teen pregnancy or drunk driving and stuff like that. Our main focus is, tobacco prevention, but we've always opened the door for other issues in our community. The Make-A-Wish Foundation and the blood drive, that is a part of our student council. It gave us, a chance to, really enjoy, school, not just, with our friends and stuff like that, but it gave us a purpose on campus. One of our biggest, projects is the Adopt a Kid project, where students in, the school in each classroom can adopt a child from one of our surrounding elementaries, where for Christmas, we get money and food and, just basically have a party and we invite them kids, children who are less fortunate, just to make sure they have something to open on Christmas. That makes me realize that there is hope for our generation. Even though they may not have known then, now you know. Now you know that there's something that you can do in this community to help better it. A leader means, for me, is someone who also knows how to follow, who has the community's best interest at heart, truly at heart. A leader means someone who can teach as well as being taught. It means someone that can truly, get a hold of somebody and change somebody's lives rather than telling them how to live their lives. My family is more of a service type of family. So that's where I feel like I got it from, more of serve the people. You may not have a lot, but, what you can give back is what you'll be remembered by. I just want to leave a legacy so people know that I was here. After I'm gone and after I did all that I wanted to do and after all, the awards are gone, I want people to know that I was here and that I changed somebody's life. So I think that's why I started so early and I joined so many groups just so I know that, hey, I did touch somebody here. I may not have reached everybody, but I got somebody. It's just something that I love to do. It's something that I have found peace with. Seeing other people's joy brings me joy. Seeing other people being impacted by whatever I say, being impacted by, all that I'm doing, and that I can also teach not just the kids, but I'm getting compliments from adults as well, saying, I never would have did that when I was your age, or I would have never thought of, even becoming, a part of this until you said something about it. If I can affect anybody, whether it be a child or an adult, then I'm serving my purpose. This is the plan that God laid out for me. So I feel like I'm just on my way. To the YWCA, I would like to say thank you. To my parents, thank them for their love and support and the sacrifices they have also made. It's a blessing to know that there's people that's like me who are driven, who are, who want to better the community. It lets me know that, the people that are doing good things, we are being noticed. I would say that this award also shows me that I'm doing something right. It shows me that, as a young woman, I am also becoming, not just a leader, but also a voice, that can be heard, or it just shows me that my efforts are not in vain. I'm not just, taking the easy road. The hardest road is less traveled, and I feel like it's definitely less traveled. It's harder, definitely harder, but it's so worth it. It is so worth it.
I was elected last year to be state representative for House District 75, which is in El Paso County. It's the area where I grew up. I think there were 3 things that inspired me to run for office. First was the commitment to the community that I had experienced because, the community gave it so much to me, and because my dad had instilled these values of being involved. The second is, I used to be a professor, and I used to tell my students, go to school and think about how you want to give back to your community, and sometimes that means sacrifice. And so I wanted to kind of live those words that I always used to tell my students. And the third is that I really truly wanted to make a difference. And so I thought this would be another way to make a difference. For example, we were able to pass this bill last week. And it was not a sexy bill, and it will never be in the newspaper. And all it did was dissolve one water district and expand another water district. Seems like pretty simple. But by doing that one thing, because we were able to talk to some of the people who live in the community, we were able to give SOAR to 1,000 families. I think sometimes the people who don't live in the communities where I'm from, you can easily forget what it's like not to have SOAR, or not to have water, or not to have electricity. And so that piece of legislation helped bring infrastructure. My district just really needs someone who will go fight for it and feel intense passion to make a difference. Sometimes people, when they hear that I'm still involved in a sorority, they're like, oh, Mary Gonzalez, that was so college. Why are you still involved in a sorority? But when I get to work with 50 different organizations across the country and get to talk to them about, we have to do community service, but our community service can't just be band-aids to the situation. Like, we can't just go out and collect food for our food pantry, but we have to simultaneously think about how to address issues of poverty and homelessness and hunger in society. And I think it's powerful for them to see someone like me serve as their national president, and so I get to mentor thousands of women. The second thing that I'm involved in and I'm very passionate about is ALGO, which is Texas's Queer People of Color organization. It's a really powerful organization, because in society we have more forces that are pulling us apart than bringing us together. And so this organization resists all that and does some phenomenal work of, around cultural arts, around community organizing. It's hard to be involved in so many things, but I can't leave my organization, specifically ALGO, because I know it does so much for the community. One of the hardest parts about fighting for what I fight for every day is I will never, in my lifetime, see the end of it. Like, I will never see the end of racism. But that doesn't, I will see the end of some racism, right? I will see the end of some sexism. And so it doesn't mean I stop fighting. I guess when you can make a difference, and you know it does matter, then you just feel completely committed to do something. One of the biggest contributions that I've ever given to Austin is the fact that I've worked with so many young people to instill this critical consciousness, just so that they can go out and make a difference, whether it was through my classes, whether it was through organization I was involved in college, whether it was through ALGO and the young people I interacted there. In so many different worlds that I operate in, I feel like I'm a broken record, always trying to plant little seeds of critical consciousness to empower people to really get involved beyond a very surface level involvement. I guess I just don't know any other way to be. It's just my sense of being. And so it's come with a lot of sacrifice, but I wouldn't take it back. every day I wake up and I feel like I make a difference. So it's really humbling to be honored. I think first because the person who wrote the nominating letter is someone who I look up to a lot, Gonzalez. He's the founder of Algo, so without him, the organization that I love wouldn't exist. And for someone that I admire to write something about me, is that's just, in the first place, like, I'm in awe. And then to be honored by an organization that I think does a phenomenal work and is led by phenomenal people, it's just really humbling. And it just means a lot to me. This award, I guess, kind of reminds me why I'm doing it. Like, it's encouraging, it is motivating. I think it just gives me a little bit of extra energy that's needed, especially at the end of legislative session, to continue fighting. Thank you to the YWCA. Thank you to Gonzalez for nominating me. I think awards are particularly important, not because of the person, but what they symbolize. And so, to me, what this award symbolizes is that as an organization, you believe in social justice, you believe in activism, you believe in being out there in the community making a difference. And so I'm honored to work in solidarity with the organization to get those projects done.
It has been such an honor for me to have had the opportunity to present these awards to such outstanding women leaders tonight. Can we give them all a round of applause?